Having bought this 1880s stone cottage in the Irish countryside more than 6 months ago, we've been living on site at first in our camper van and now in a caravan overlooking our farmhouse for months without starting any of the much needed work. Today, we are finally starting the renovation. We weren't waiting for contractors, materials or equipment, so what did take us so long? We're going to be answering that in today's video, but we're all impatient for this to begin, so let's get started. Where to?
I'll go home.
But before we started on that concrete, we had to get the digger inside the house. And that's when something went a bit wrong. What's up?
I've got 1 centimetre to spare. I am probably going to damage this door frame.
Shit.
I mean, it's jerking all over the place, like, so, it is what it is.
Well, the door frame is one thing, it's as long as they don't damage the walls.
Yeah. He said I should be wearing my seatbelt.
So the first job for this cottage renovation is destruction. So for a couple who want to restore this old farmhouse back to its former glory, it might seem a little bit incongruent to start with quite so brutal of a first project, but it is necessary. We are breaking up this concrete floor. So before we bought this house, it sat here uninhabited for 4 years, but it was owned during that time by a couple of developers and they had started some renovation work here, not completed it. And one of the jobs that they did was to put in underfloor heating and to lay a concrete floor across the whole of the downstairs of the property. So you're probably wondering, why on earth are we ripping all of that up then? It's a good question, but for the answer, we're gonna need a caveman. Let's go get him. Where is he? Han?
Yeah.
Question for you. So why would we rip up a perfectly decent concrete floor which has had newly laid underfloor heating?
Because we're mad. Lots of reasons. First of all of the services are in the wrong place. So this room is meant to be an ensuite, I think, and it's got a whole bunch of additional piping for services and things like this. So there's a waste pipe coming out the ground there. We don't need a waste pipe there, and the electrical cables, well, all the electrics are in the wrong place for us, so we need to...
and they run underneath the concrete?
Yeah, so there's a big conduit which runs from the consumer unit here straight through the slab all the way to the other side of the house. Also, there were already cracks in the surface.
Concrete's like blown in certain points, kind of bulging by some of the windows and stuff.
Yeah, so we needed a bit of investigation there to find out if there was anything more serious going on. From what we could see of the quality of their other work, it was likely that they hadn't done a proper job on the underfloor heating slab itself.
What are you talking about? They put their rubble under the carpet upstairs. It's a sign of a good good crew.
Yeah. All signs pointed to us needing to bring it up and do it again, basically.
Caravan was so excited to start the renovation, he entirely forgot himself and went in without his protective equipment on. Don't try this at home. And this is the man, by the way, who plants potatoes in a high-vis jacket, so he really did lose his head there.
You said you wouldn't start without me!
Day one complete. One room, floor mashed up. One little room, floor mostly mashed up. Took a little bit longer as that's the main fuse board, so there's lots of cables coming out. A bit disturbingly, can't see it because of the light, but bare cable buried in concrete, not ideal. Other cables buried in what should be conduit, not ideal. Other pipe work, hot and cold pipes just laid on top of the underfloor heating pipes, so again not ideal. Waste pipes pretty much flush with the floor finish, the floor surface. About 10 mil of cover there over the waste pipe, not ideal. Electrical cable runs just randomly strewn throughout the main screed. Pretty shoddy job. The icing on the cake is there is no concrete structural slab under this. It is just underfloor heating screed laid on top of insulation, laid on top of hardcore. It's a job that I was half tempted to just ignore and just accept it for what it is, but the more that gets uncovered, the more I'm glad I'm undoing all of this tomfoolery and getting it done right.
Now it's time for Caravan's side quest. The thing to know about Caravan is that he's a multi-project kind of guy, never known to be happier than when he's got at least 3 projects on the go. So partway through all the concrete drilling, he took a pause for this week's side quest. And we're actually starting a second project, as you can see, this side quest. We're going to be creating the base for a sort of temporary structure. More on that in later videos.
Here and I hit rock at 1.5, so not going any further. I mean, what? 6 hours, 5 hours to get to this point. Yeah, slow going with this tiny little mini digger. I need a bigger digger. So this is a chunk of the underfloor heating slab that was taken up, and you can see it's not even 1.5 inches. So that's where one of the pipes was laid through the screed. So you've got like 1 centimetre of screed on top and 1 centimetre underneath. So it's meant to be 3 inches minimum, ideally 4. So that was disaster. Disaster waiting to happen. It just would have continued to crack. No bueno.
So what took us so long? It's a good question. I've had this question so many times on my other channel. People have been desperate for us to start this renovation. They're like, why aren't you starting? And getting maybe even as frustrated as we are sitting here. So we've been here on site since January. We've owned the property since November 2023, and we've only just begun at the very end of May 2024. So what took us so long? Was it because we've just been enjoying living in the caravan so much and we just want to prolong that?
No.
Is it because we're lazy? Is it because you're lazy?
Maybe a little bit.
Is it because we've been just so busy having fun?
Well, we have been having fun.
We have been having fun.
It's not the reason.
It's not the reason. So what is the reason?
So the reason it's taking so long to get started is because we're going for the vacant home grant, and there's a whole bundle of paperwork and hoops that you need to jump through to submit and get approval.
A lot of red tape.
Yeah, a lot of red tape.
And there's like an assessment process, and like we had to have somebody come around and survey, and there was a wait for that. So
yeah, and you're trying to get money out of the government from, ultimately it's the taxpayers. For free, yeah. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ireland.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's lots of good reasons why they do it, and
because we're returning houses that are otherwise just being left and potentially decaying to a point like past the point of no return. We're returning it back to the housing stock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's part of their multi-pronged approach to solving that kind of housing crisis.
So is it enough money that we get to do this whole refurbishment for free?
No.
Not even close. But it is a generous sum. We're super grateful.
So it's £50,000 for
euros.
50,000 euros for a structurally sound dwelling. We're going to be putting that 50,000 euros to good use. Yeah, ultimately we need to make it livable. So
so that's what's been taking so long, and we actually started the research for the process back when the sale had gone through in November, but it takes quite a lot of prep work to be able to fill in all the forms, meet all of their criteria, jump through the various hoops. So Cayman's been working really hard on that for a long time. And also thank you to some of my subscribers on my channel, because they've been really helpful with advice and even just suggesting this grant to us, which was just lovely. So how are you feeling about week 1 of the reno?
I'm glad the ugly part is out of the way. It was a horrible job.
Dusty.
Yeah, really dusty. I mean,
looked boring.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I made it look cool in the edit, but
using a mini digger was really fun for like the first 2 hours, and then every hour after that became more and more mind-numbing. But it needed to be done. It doesn't feel like progress because it's still demolition. It feels like a step back, but it's still progress, and it was absolutely necessary. I was umming and ahhing over, actually, even after deciding that we were going to do it, I was still trying to find reasons not to do it, because it was just, I knew it was
not
going to
looking forward to it.
Yeah, because it's a backward step, and it's such a horrible job, and
we're like, how important is it really? I mean, it is newly laid-ish,
Yeah, I mean, it was a reasonably flat, brand new concrete solid floor. Having uncovered what I did, I'm really glad we decided to tackle it.
Yeah, was for sure the right move. The idea of tiling or laying flooring on top of that now, with what we know about it, and then in a year, 2 years, or even as soon as that was done, like just hooking everything up and realizing that it's not working, or there's so many things that could have gone wrong. And if we'd started from that ground level up with the reno and we had to rip stuff out and then do this job, that would just be soul destroying, I think.
Yeah, it would be papering over the cracks.
Yeah.
And more and more cracks would have continued to have shown.
Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, we're standing on a pile of rubble, so I need to clear the rubble out. Need to rip out all of the existing underfloor heating pipework and all of the services that were all laid in the existing slabs. All the electrics is just strewn across from one connection point to the next connection point. All of the plumbing is just laid in the broken rubble now. So all of this stuff needs to be ripped out, and we're back down to the subsoil, and that's our blank slate, and we can start building it back up again.
And we're also going to be pressing forward with our secret side quest. More on that in a coming video. Don't draw me on it. See you next time, guys. See you next time. What is the reason? Have we forgotten? What?
It's been so long, I've forgotten why we're still living in a caravan.
Just got used to it.